What happens when the lights go out, for good? When everything you know, everyone you love, and every hope you've ever had is extinguished in a flash of nuclear fire. What are you in that final silence? Are you a memory? A ghost? Or just the last echo of a story that no one is left to hear? Imagine the end of the world. Not a distant, abstract idea, but a sudden, brutal reality. In one moment, you are part of a civilization spanning 12 planets, a vibrant tapestry of billions of lives. The next, you are one of 50,000 survivors adrift in the cold, unforgiving void of space. This isn't a story about winning a war. It's about what happens after the war is already lost. It's a story about the last remnants of humanity, hunted by the very machines they created. This is the story of Battlestar Galactica. To understand the weight of this journey, you have to understand the fall. The 12 colonies of Kobol were not a utopian society, but they were home. They were a civilization with art, politics, religion, and families. And they had a dark history with their own creations, the Cylons. Originally built as servants and soldiers, the Cylons rebelled. A long, bloody war ended with an armistice. The Cylons departed for a world of their own, and for 40 years there was silence. Humanity grew complacent, believing the threat was over. They built a new generation of networked technology, integrating it into every facet of their lives, from their starships to their defense systems. It was this very progress that became their undoing. The Cylons returned, but not as the clanking machines of old. They had evolved. Some now looked human, so perfectly that they could infiltrate society, walk among their creators, and learn their weaknesses. They offered a backdoor into humanity's defenses, a digital Trojan horse that disabled an entire civilization in a single coordinated strike. The colonies burned, billions died in minutes. The war was over before it truly began. Out of this apocalypse, a handful of ships survived. A civilian fleet, a hodgepodge of transports, liners, and freighters that happened to be in the right place at the wrong time. And their only protection? A single, aging warship, the Battlestar Galactica. Decommissioned and on the verge of becoming a museum, its old, non-networked systems made it immune to the Cylon attack. It was an antique, a relic. And now it was the last shield for the last of humankind. This is the premise, but Battlestar Galactica is not your typical science fiction epic. There are no sleek starships with endless power, no easy solutions from a magical computer. This is a story grounded in a terrifying realism. The fleet is constantly running out of food, water, and fuel. Every jump to a new star system is a gamble, a desperate roll of the dice to escape detection. The ships are old, cramped, and falling apart. The mood is not one of adventure, but of persistent, gnawing fear. It's a refugee caravan in space, haunted by the ghosts of 12 worlds and hunted by an enemy that will never stop. The stakes are not about victory, they are about survival. The goal isn't to defeat the Cylons, but simply to live to see another day, to find a mythical new home called Earth, a place that may not even exist. This relentless pressure is what makes the show so compelling. It strips away the glamour of space opera and replaces it with the grit of a survival drama. The characters aren't just fighting an external enemy, they're battling their own despair, paranoia, and the slow erosion of their humanity. At the heart of the conflict are the Cylons themselves. They are far more than just killer robots. They are a mirror held up to humanity, reflecting our own arrogance, our cruelty, and our desperate need for purpose. The new Cylons, the 12 human models, are a chilling evolution. They are conscious, self-aware beings who can feel love, jealousy, and pain. They believe in a single monotheistic God, a stark contrast to the polytheistic humans. Their war is not just one of conquest, but a holy crusade. They see humanity as a flawed, sinful creation, and they believe their purpose is to replace it. This raises profound philosophical questions. What does it mean to be human? If a machine can think, feel, and believe, is it not alive? The Cylons were created by humans, in our own image. They inherited our capacity for both creation and destruction. Their hatred is a twisted form of the resentment a child might feel for a neglectful parent, They are our children, and they are coming to destroy us. The show doesn't give easy answers. It presents the Cylons as both villains and victims. We see their brutality, their cold, calculated genocide, but we also see their internal conflicts, their doubts, and their own search for identity. Some Cylons begin to question their mission. They fall in love with humans. They experience guilt. They start to wonder if they are on the right side of history. This complexity turns a simple story of us versus them into a tragic exploration of consciousness itself. The Cylons are not just monsters. They are a philosophical question given form. Are they the next step in evolution? Or are they a terrible mistake, a dead end in the story of life? Their existence forces the human survivors to confront their own definitions of life, soul, and morality. In this desperate struggle for survival, there are no clear heroes. There are only people making impossible choices. Leadership is not about inspiring speeches. It's about shouldering an unbearable burden. Commander William Adama, the stoic leader of the Galactica, must constantly weigh the survival of the fleet against the moral compromises required to achieve it. He is a man of principle, forced to betray those principles time and time again. He lies to his people, sending them on a search for an Earth he doesn't believe exists, because hope is a resource more precious than fuel. He authorizes torture to extract information, sacrificing a piece of his own soul to save a few more lives. President Laura Roslin, a former Secretary of Education who becomes president by succession, faces a similar crucible. She must navigate the treacherous waters of politics in a society on the brink of collapse. She has to make decisions that will lead to the deaths of some to save the many. Is it right to sacrifice a ship of 1,000 people if it risks exposing the entire fleet? Is it just to rig an election if you believe your opponent will lead everyone to ruin? The series unflinchingly explores the dark side of human nature under pressure. When the Cylons occupy a human colony, the story examines the brutal realities of insurgency and collaboration. Good people are forced to become terrorists. Respected leaders become tyrants. The line between right and wrong blurs until it disappears entirely. The show draws subtle but powerful parallels to modern conflicts, asking us to consider the true cost of war. It suggests that in the fight against monsters, we risk becoming monsters ourselves. Survival is the ultimate goal, but the show constantly asks, what is the point of surviving if we lose the very things that make us human? The struggle is not just for the survival of the species, but for the survival of its conscience. Woven into this fabric of war and politics is a deep and ambiguous exploration of faith. The human survivors cling to their ancient polytheistic beliefs, the names of their gods, Zeus, Hera, Apollo, echoing a history that feels both familiar and alien. For many, this faith is a source of comfort, a connection to the civilization they lost. For others, like the pragmatic Commander Adama, it's little more than superstition. In stark contrast, the Cylons are united by a fervent, singular faith. Their belief in one true God is the driving force behind their actions. They see their destruction of the colonies not as genocide, but as divine judgment. Their faith gives them a certainty and a purpose that the fragmented, doubting humans lack. This creates a fascinating dynamic. The machines are the believers, while the humans are the skeptics. This theme deepens with the introduction of prophecy and destiny. President Roslin begins to have visions, fueled by a combination of medication and perhaps something more. These visions seem to guide her, pointing the fleet towards salvation. At the same time, the Cylons have their own prophecies, ancient texts that foretell the future of both races. The show masterfully plays with this ambiguity. Are these prophecies real? Is there a divine hand guiding events, a grand plan unfolding? Or are they simply self-fulfilling, with characters shaping their actions to fit a narrative they desperately want to believe? Belief becomes a tool for survival. For Roslin, her faith in her visions gives her the strength to lead, even when all logic points to despair. For the Cylons, their faith justifies their existence and their war. But the show also asks a critical question. Does belief give us purpose, or does it rob us of our freedom? If everything is preordained, are our choices meaningful? Or are we all just puppets in a cosmic play? our struggles and sacrifices ultimately meaningless? Battlestar Galactica never provides a definitive answer. It leaves the audience to grapple with these questions, to wonder whether our destinies are written in the stars or forged by the choices we make in the darkness. Beneath the grand themes of war and religion lies a deeply personal and intimate exploration of identity. In a world where your neighbor could be a Cylon copy, the question of who are you becomes a matter of life and death. But the show takes this question even further. It's not just about identifying the enemy, it's about understanding yourself. The characters are haunted by their pasts, by the people they were before the world ended. They are forced to confront their own flaws, their guilt, and their capacity for self-deception. Memory becomes a fragile, unreliable thing. For the Cylon models who are activated within the fleet, their entire lives are revealed to be a lie. They have memories, emotions, and relationships that were programmed, not lived. When they discover their true nature, their identity shatters. They are caught between two worlds, belonging to neither. Are they the person they thought they were, or the machine they were built to be? This internal conflict is a powerful metaphor for the universal human struggle with self-discovery. We all wear masks. We all tell ourselves stories about who we are. What happens when that story is torn away? Even for the human characters, identity is not a fixed point. It's a fluid, shifting thing that fractures under immense pressure. The pilot known as Starbuck is a perfect example. She is a brilliant, reckless fighter ace, but she is also a deeply damaged individual, haunted by an abusive past. Her journey is one of constant transformation, of dying and being reborn, both literally and metaphorically. She struggles with her purpose, her faith, and her very sense of self. Is she the savior of humanity, or its destroyer? The show suggests that identity is not something we are given, but something we create and recreate through our actions and our choices, especially when we are pushed to our absolute limits. In the end, the question isn't just, are you human or Cylon, but who do you choose to be today? As the fleet's journey continues, a haunting refrain emerges, spoken by both humans and Cylons. All of this has happened before, and all of this will happen again. This line is the philosophical core of the series, introducing the idea of a great, repeating cycle of history. The characters begin to uncover evidence of previous cycles, of civilizations that rose and fell, of conflicts between creators and their creations that played out long before their time. The myth of Earth itself is tied to this cycle. It is not just a destination, it is a memory, a lost home from a previous iteration of humanity. This concept transforms the story from a simple struggle for survival into a meditation on the nature of progress. Is humanity capable of learning from its mistakes? The cycle suggests a powerful sense of inevitability. It implies that the conflict between humans and Cylons is not unique, but a recurring tragedy hardwired into the fabric of existence. Every choice, every battle, every sacrifice feels both monumentally important and depressingly futile. The ending of the series brings this theme to its conceptual climax. It's not about a final, glorious battle, but about the choice to break the cycle. The survivors are faced with a fundamental decision. Do they continue down the path of technological advancement that led to their destruction, or do they choose a different way of life? It's a choice between embracing the future and letting go of the past. The show questions whether true progress is measured by our technology or by our ability to find peace with ourselves and our environment. This idea of the cycle leaves the audience with a profound and unsettling question. Is our own history a part of this same pattern? Are our own conflicts, our own technological leaps, our own societal divisions simply echoes of things that have happened before? The series doesn't offer a simple solution. It suggests that the fight to break the cycle is a constant one, waged not on a galactic scale, but within every individual. The choice is always there, to repeat the mistakes of the past, or to strive for something better, even if the odds are stacked against us. The cycle is both a warning and a challenge. History may be doomed to repeat itself, but only if we let it. So why does a show that ended years ago still matter so much today? Because the questions it asks have only become more urgent. We live in an age of rapid technological advancement, on the cusp of creating true artificial intelligence. Battlestar Galactica serves as a powerful cautionary tale, not about killer robots, but about the unintended consequences of our own creations. It forces us to think about the ethics of AI, about what rights a conscious machine might have, and about the dangers of creating something we cannot control. The show's exploration of war, terrorism, and moral compromise feels more relevant than ever. In a world of drone warfare, political polarization, and constant surveillance, the difficult choices faced by Adama and Roslin are not science fiction. They are the dilemmas that define our modern era. The series holds up a mirror to our own society and asks us to examine the price of security and the erosion of our values in the name of safety. Its discussion of faith versus secularism, of belief as both a comfort and a weapon, speaks directly to the ideological divides in our world. It explores how people find meaning in a chaotic universe, and how those beliefs can lead to both profound acts of compassion and horrific acts of violence. But most importantly, Battlestar Galactica still matters because it is a deeply human story. It's about flawed people trying to do their best in an impossible situation. It's about love, loss, grief, and hope. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, when all seems lost, our connections to each other are what give us the strength to continue. It is a warning about our potential for self-destruction, but it is also an affirmation of our resilience, our capacity for change, and our endless, desperate, beautiful struggle to be better. The show isn't just about the end of the world, it's about what it takes to begin a new one, and so we return to the beginning. To the silence after the fall. When you are stripped of your civilization, your technology, your history, what is left? You are not just a survivor. You are a choice. A choice to hold on to hope or to give in to despair. A choice to repeat the mistakes of the past or to forge a new path. A choice to be defined by your anger or by your love. After everything is gone, the only thing that remains is the question of who you will become. And that is a question that never ends.